no sound, Rob.
Okay, welcome back to Road America, where we see Throttle Freaks round number 5. This is our GT3 fixed series race, first one of the evening. Later on, we'll have the sprint race. I am Rob Campbell, running production and commentary. In the booth with me is Richard Swindells again this week. So here we are at Road America, a crowd favorite amongst this league. And somebody, maybe myself, coined it the greatest track in the world once upon a time, and I'm going to stick to it, no matter what anybody says. I believe it's the greatest track in the world. But Road America is a legendary motorsports venue. It's located in Plymouth, Wisconsin. The track is 4.048 miles, just over 4 miles, 14 challenging turns. It's noted for its picturesque setting. Road America is nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, offering a stunning backdrop for high-speed action. It's hosted races since 1955, making it one of the oldest continuously operated road racing tracks in the U.S. Boasts a unique feature: fans camp on the site, creating an immersive race weekend. And let's hope they're all ready to cheer on their crowd favorites out here tonight, Rich.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm with you, Rob. This is definitely my favorite track in North America. And growing up as a kid, I used to watch Indy cars race here all the time before they came to Toronto. So I'm a big fan, and I think we're going to have a great race tonight. We got a huge turnout. I think the racers love this track too, and that's in evidence just by looking how many cars we got out qualifying right now.
Yeah, I think last count I saw there's 35 cars, 36 cars, something in around there. So definitely a strong turnout, but we're just waiting for our drivers to put in their lap times here. We've got a few of them on the board right now. David Bush III, who we didn't see last week. He missed last week's race, back again this week, so he'll be trying to battle again at the front again this week, Rich. But we'll take a quick look here while we have a moment at the championship standings. Let's take a look here first at let's do the pro category first. You read us through the pro standings there, Rich, and then we'll grab the AM after.
Sitting at first with a big lead right now is Tyler Graff. Tyler's had some consistent great results. David Bush III, missing last week, is still holding second. In third, we have Felix Feliz, followed in fourth by Jared Keane. Brett Thurman sitting fifth overall, followed by Andrew Trickett in sixth. In seventh, we have Jay Steffi, followed by Jason Park. Ninth, we have Seb Gauthier, followed in 10th by Colin McKenzie. Continue on through the field. Looks like we've got about 19 drivers if we want to scroll through there, Rob.
At your beck and call there, Rich. There you go. There's the rest of the
it looks like
pro
we got 22, and unfortunately Herbert Pineda is in the hole right now. Herbert's had a lot of great pace, but a couple of penalties have set him back.
Yeah, he's still fighting his way out of the hole. Let's take a look at the AM stand. Oops, one click too far here. Let's look at the AM standings. Currently, Kevin Berquist leading the way in AM, 130 points over Nathan Doogie. Doogie had a strong showing last week at Mugello, so we'll see if he's able to piggyback off that strong showing. Currently in second spot. Looks like that's about 18 points back of Kevin Berquist. Josh Sheps in third, just 9 points ahead of Robert Jeffries in fourth, and Jeffries only 1 point ahead of Waldo Walden in fifth. So second to fifth, really close right now in the AM standings, but we've yet to start to factor in the drop weeks. Then we see Luke Davis in sixth, Drew DeWeese in seventh, Jacob Fichtner in eighth, Dave Jensen in ninth. David Morse going to round out the top 10, and then we'll take a quick click here, through the rest of the AM field there. And then lastly, we've got our teams championship, Rich. We've got, why is it still loading the wrong teams championship standings? We'll take a quick look at our times out on lap, and I'll see if I can get the team championship standings to reload in the correct ones, as for some reason it seems to want to fight me tooth and nail here.
Yeah, we'll keep following around here while you're working on that, Rob. We're looking at David Bush III driving around that Lambo. It looks like he's just coming up to the end of lapping here at Road America, going into turn 14, the final turn, entering onto the long uphill straightaway, trying to build a lot of momentum here. Let's see how David does coming through this lap. Certainly kidding up with the fastest lap overall, and looks like he's still the fastest lap. Doesn't look like he improved his time there.
Yeah, he's definitely got some work ahead of him there, Rich, to make up those spots. But I think I see the issue with the championship standing, so I should have that updated here shortly. But again, this is our usual format, 35 minutes in the fixed race. Our drivers will need to make a pit stop. They don't need tires, just some fuel. But again, our drivers kind of intermingled amongst the class. Points doled out where you
Yeah,
finish overall. Doesn't really matter where you finish in class, but our orange numbered cars on the left, those are our pro class drivers. Purple is the AM. So you can see a couple of our AM drivers kind of filtered their way up into the top 15 with Waldo Walden, our top AM in fifth, Zach Mosley in seventh. So nice to see our AM drivers putting the screws to some of the pro drivers.
yeah. Both Waldo and Zach both exhibited great pace last week, Rob, and looks like they got Road America figured out because they're right in the mix up near the front as well tonight.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, Waldo got tied up in a little bit of a incident mid race and had to use his toe, if I believe correctly. So he'll be looking to have a bounce back from that showing last week. But I think here we go. We've got the points corrected here now with SRTE Black up top of the championship. Only 3 points over B&O Cardomania and SRTE Green, another 3 points back. We see Lunatic Racing 1 point back of that in fourth, and then SGE Esports in fifth. So from fifth all the way up to first, only separated by 15 points in the team championships. So still a lot to battle out there as we're only nearing the midway point of the season.
Yeah, those SRTE cars, both colors are certainly doing a great job this season, and both teams looking very strong right now. But lots of fighting left to go.
Yeah, still a long way to go. We are at week 5 of, I believe we're doing 10, if I remember correctly. Let's take a look here quickly at the schedule, Rich, while we have a moment. You can see there we're currently at round 5. Road America, we've been to Red Bull Ring, Watkins Glen, Algarve, and Magello. This week takes us to Road America. And then next week we head off to Circuit Americas. We follow it up with Road Atlanta, Le Mans, Sebring, and then we wrap everything up round 10 at Imola. So still a few great tracks left on the schedule. I can honestly say I'm not the biggest fan of Circuit of the Americas in GT cars. It's a blast in a Formula type car or a prototype car, but in the GT cars, I find they're just a little too lumbering and cumbersome to really get around the twisty layout of Coda, especially with those large yellow turtle curbs they have out there. Really trying to navigate through them, Rich, is tough in a 3,000-pound GT car.
Yeah, those sausage or turtle curves, whatever you want to call them. To be honest, with you, I haven't raced in a GT car for a couple of years now in there, but yeah, they definitely can throw havoc and make the car do very strange things, not to mention cause damage. As we continue along through the carousel, David Bush the third, he's been overtaken by Tyler Graff so far. So David looking to regain top spot right now. There's only a few minutes left to qualifying. It's now or never. Take a look. Here's Tyler Graff going down the long straightaway. Looks like leading into Canada Corner, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct. No, sir, that's turn 5. He's heading
No, I'm
into right
not.
now. So this will be Tyler's last lap. It says open qualifying, so as long as they cross the line before the clock ticks over on the 15-minute timer, they can complete the lap. They don't have any more time after that, so we'll see a few drivers still on track after the 15-minute clock runs out. But getting down to the nitty-gritty on board here with Colin McKenzie, currently in 11th overall. He's looking for a strong showing. Colin hasn't had the greatest season so far. He'll be trying to improve on that. Looks like we got a cheer for Kevin Bergquist in the chat. So we'll pick up Kevin here, currently in 22nd overall, 7th in class. So Kevin's sitting a strong showing in the AM class right now, but he'll be trying to make some pace. He's got fellow AM competitors in Alex Hillman, Ian Cabana, and Neil Alexander are going to be starting right in front of him as it stands right now.
Yeah, Kevin's really taken advantage this season of consistency. He's sitting overall top at the amateur class, and that's really because of his consistency. Not necessarily the fastest every night, but he's there every night. And you got to finish first. Well, you know the saying, Rob. I'm a little messed up here, but there he goes. Let's take a look at Kevin crossing the line here.
You can't finish first if you don't finish, Rich. That's what you're looking for.
Something like that.
We pick up, looks like David Bush as he's heading into turn 5 now. I'm not sure if he made it across the line before the clock ticked over, but he's got his championship competitor, Tyler Graff, currently up top of the championship standings via a missed week by David Bush. Although I think he might be up there, even if Mr. David Bush had shown up last week as well. With Tyler Graff has been strong so far up front. Jason Park, another driver who's been strong. Had a bit of a rough week in week 1 at Red Bull Ring, but he's been strong ever since. You see Patrick Farrell able to jump up into P3 on that last lap using the toe of the McLaren up ahead of him. I'm not sure which McLaren that was, but nice toe down the front straight. Massive gains for Patrick Farrell on the final lap.
You take a look. We got Jacob Figner coming around here. Looks like he's just coming into the last couple of corners here at Road America. Just the final turn 14 to go before he leads up to that final straightaway. Let's see what Jacob's got tonight.
It's going to be an off track there. That's going to negate his lap time, unfortunately for him, and he's going to pull it directly into the pits. I'm not sure if he was actually planning on finishing the lap or not, but definitely when he dropped those 2 tires off in the grass, that pretty much sealed the deal for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it's a good opportunity to make use of that pit entry because you get that long straight run up the hill, and you want to make sure you can maximize your speed entering, but not go over the speed limit and get that slowed down. And with that uphill, with the kind of crest right at the cones, a little tough pit entry, a little deceivingly tough pit entry to get it just right.
Yeah, it can be a tough track. It's, as I mentioned, one of the most popular tracks in iRacing service and in pretty much any league you run in. Road America, as I proclaimed it, the best track in the world, generally brings out the strong showing amongst any kind of league or even in the officials. So we're just waiting for the clock to tick over. A few more seconds to go in qualifying. Then we'll take a quick look at the grid. But let's take a look here, Rich, if I can pop up the weather, see what kind of weather conditions we have right now. We got 20-degree track temp, 19-degree temp in the air. So absolutely beautiful day for racing. Can't really ask for much better than that. No chance of rain. If I remember, I believe I checked the forecast earlier. So just a matter of, well, fairly clear skies, nice, cool track temps. Drivers won't really have to worry about much about wearing out their tires and just kind of push as hard as they can.
Yeah, 0% chance of rain takes a little bit of the element of the people off pace being able to take advantage of that. But let's take a look here at the qualifying efforts. We've got Tyler Graff sitting on pole, followed by David Bush III right up front with him. Patrick Farrell sitting 3rd, followed by Herbert Pineda in 4th. In 5th, we've got Jason Park, followed by Colin McKenzie. 7th, we've got Jared Keane, followed by Andrew Trickett. In 9th, we've got Jay Steffi, followed by our first amateur, Waldo Walden, in 10th. In 11th, Zach Mosley, followed by Dale Peterson.
And nice showing by Walden and Mosley getting up into the top 12. Joseph Carms in 13th, Seb Coche in 14th, Brett Thurman in 15th, Jordan Spoon in 16th, Jacob Fichtner in 17th, Andrew Venero is going to start 18th, Neil Alexander in 19th, Ian Cabana 20th, Alex Hillman 21st, Kevin Berquist, our AM leader, in 22nd, Josh Sheps 23rd, Kyle Morrison in 24th.
In 25th, we've got Robert Jeffries, followed by Dave Jensen. 27th, Mark Bray, followed by Christopher Rhines. Then we have Derek Rice, followed by Alex Wright. Rounding out the field, we've got David Morse, followed by Karsten Quint. And then sitting 33rd overall, Ian Southern.
Yeah, 33 cars set to hit the track here tonight, Rich. It's a fairly big track, as I mentioned, 4 miles around, lots of room for all these drivers, but it's going to be real dicey into turn 1. Turn 1 can definitely be a handful at Road America. You get that quick run up the front straight, and then you really have to get onto the binders into turn 1. So we'll see if anybody really tries to push the envelope into turn 1. But again, we have to tip our hats to the admins giving us another short pace lap here at Road America. Once upon a time, there was no short pace lap at Road America, and you used to have to go the whole way around, which drove almost everybody nuts. in any league or official race you did. Having to do the whole 4 mile pace at about 40, 50 mile an hour was painfully slow.
Definitely was. Yeah, I'd expect to see. We might see a couple of cars drift wide. Between on the exit of turn one. It's going to be difficult unless they get it down to single file, and I just don't see that happening, Rob. So I expect to see at least one or two drivers make use of a little bit of the dirt and grass there. But this is going to be an exciting one. We've been waiting for this all season, Rob. Yours and mine favorite track, Road America. 33 cars on the grid. Action's about to get underway. This is going to be fabulous.
Yeah, another I'm going to say another real great track coming up in a couple weeks. Road Atlanta. We'll be looking forward to that one too, Rich. But we're about getting away into the last corner here. Tyler Graff's going to have control as the pace car ducks in. And we're off. Looks like Graff going to get a early jump. He's not going to wait for the green flag, and off they go. David Busch having to fight Patrick Farrell onto the inside. Looks like Busch might get the run around the outside, try and take that Lambo up and around the outside. McLaren on the inside. Farrell showing its top speed. Looks like Farrell might have the inside position into turn one. Busch trying to fight back on the outside, but Jason Park right there in the NSX to pounce if something were to happen between these two. Busch driving it deep onto the brakes into turn three. He's going to take back his second spot from Farrell. So Farrell held it for a couple moments, but Busch able to snatch that back up. Looks like Jay Steffi and Andrew Trickett falling through the field. We'll take a look at what happened to them in a few moments when things get a little sorted out here. But just in behind these cars, we got Colin McKenzie and Herbert Pineda going too wide. Herbert Pineda, we mentioned suffering a massive penalty in week one, trying to work back through those negative points, but he moves up ahead of Colin McKenzie and Jared Keane at the same time. So two position gain for Herbert Pineda. He's still down one spot from where he qualified, so still got some work up ahead of him, Rich.
Yeah, Herbert's had great pace all season long. He's just got to keep it a little cleaner. Wow, what a great start we had by Tyler Graff. And we're going to keep a look here. Colin McKenzie's also doing a good job. Colin's sitting where he started and up there mixing it up a little further up than he has been a couple of weeks back. So,
yeah, strong showing so far
all around
from
as we watch
McKenzie.
these guys going through it. Sorry about that, Robbie. Yeah, the guys going through the carousel. Definitely a nice, fun spot on the track as they're going into the big, long straightaway between turns 11 and 12, leading up to Canada Corner. Cars all single file now. Getting in that draft, seeing what they can do.
Yeah, let's see. I might have the incident queued up here earlier. It looks like Brett Thurman and I believe that might be Dale Peterson rubbing together. Oh, whole lot of calamity there. Cars get caught up left, right, and center. Looks like Kevin Burke was possibly our AM leader tagged up in there. A number of the SRTE cars. That is definitely not what we wanted to see on lap one. See if I can gather up another replay here, try and get an idea of how many cars were wrapped up in that. But it looks like Andrew Trickett, Dale Peterson, Seb Gauthier, Brett Thurman, Dave Jensen, Christopher Rhines, all definitely caught up in that wreck early on.
Yeah, that's not what we want to see. And then you add in Jay Steffi having his issue with earlier on the first turn, it looked like, and then those guys going down that long straightaway just not getting it all together.
Yeah, definitely not what they were looking forward to here at Road America. But right now we got Zach Mosley in the black and silver Corvette battling Jared Keane. That's a battle for 7th position. Keane in the Porsche, Mosley in the Corvette. We'll see which one's got the stronger legs down the straight. I know the Porsche doesn't quite have the top speed that some of the other GT3s have. It takes advantage of the twisty section, but we see Mosley going wide. It's going to cost him a couple spots. Walden, Joseph Carnes are going to sneak by him. Looks like Carnes on the inside position to try and take that position away officially. Now Mosley having to deal with Jordan Spoon in the NSX. The inside looks like Mosley going to hold him off for now. Spoon backs out of that too wide position. Wisely so. It's hard to go too wide through turn number 8. You definitely don't want to try and push it through there, Richie. It's not a whole lot of room. Off track. Oh, no. I think that was Joseph Carnes just binned it into the wall. Lost the back end of the Corvette getting onto power just before the carousel. He's going to get turned around, but thankfully for him, the rest of the back half of the field was quite a ways back due to having to slow up for that lap 1 incident into turn 1 that we saw. So plenty of time for Joseph to get back on track, only lose a couple spots, but back up here with the lead 3 who have broken away 3 seconds over Colin McKenzie. Jordan Graff leading around David Busch III and Jason Park.
Yeah, the all the incidents going on back in the background, and these three drivers have great pace tonight, and taking full advantage of what's going on back there just to break away. Uh, they're all looking for a nice podium finish, and they've got a nice big gap as long as they can retain it and drive clean here. David Bush the third, sitting second. Jason Park in third. David Bush has getting right up on the back of Tyler Graff, but as we said before, he's pretty good at fuel saving on the first half of the race and getting really down to the battle in the second half. So let's see if David continues to hold his traditions.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see him pushing this hard this early. As you mentioned, normally we see him kind of go into fuel save mode, try and make the overtake through the pit strategy. But right now he's staying tight on the back of Tyler Graff, trying to force an issue. Maybe he's under the strategy this week, Rich, that if he can try and force Graff into an issue, maybe he can bop him down a couple spots and try and maximize points haul. But right now, Bush doing well to stay on the back of Graff. He's fortunately got Jason Park on his tailpipe, so he can't really back off a whole lot and try and fuel save if he wants to hold Park back in the third spot.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fall back to third, but I think staying up close on second there, he's taking full advantage of that draft. He's going to be able to fuel save a little bit just from that momentum the draft's giving him. David's no rookie here. Oh, as we get a little bit wide and Tyler Graff getting the back end a little loose, that lets Jason Park move up to second because David Bush had to back out of it a little bit to avoid contact.
And unfortunately, we just mentioned that he had to try and keep Park behind him, but now Bush is going to get the double draft. But just behind them, Colin McKenzie, he's got Herbert Pineda and Patrick Farrell. Farrell down 3 spots. We saw him jump up into third place at the very end of qualifying, so we know he's got the pace. Right now, sitting at the back of Pineda and McKenzie, just kind of absorbing that draft, probably saving a little bit of fuel. But we've got Jared Keane and Waldo Walden not too far back of them, the two of them trying to work together to catch that pack. And Zach Mosley just on their tail. So we got a couple 3-car packs kind of separating first to third, fourth to sixth, and then seventh to ninth here, Rich.
Yeah, it's the way it's been all season so far, Rob. We see the packs kind of separate out a little bit, but the nice thing is we've still got pack racing. So there's battles going on up and down the field. Whether you're battling for first, as Jason Park is, or you're battling for 15th, you got somebody to race with, and there's some good clean racing all the way through the field.
Yeah, we just saw Jason Park just made the move around Tyler Graff there to get up into P1. Let's take a look, see what happened. As they're coming in through into Canada corner, looks like Park going to dive it deep under the brakes. He's going to make that move, and he'll move himself up into top spot. Goes off track, but keeps the spot eventually as Tyler Graff ducks in behind, and he's going to try to fuel save now off the back of Jason Park.
Yeah, entering Canada corner is probably the most opportune time to make a pass on this track. There are a few places, but that's one of the favorites. We'll take a look at Jacob Figner. Jacob doing a great job trying to close his battle here with Jordan Spoon. Another SRT car, just like we're used to seeing them, and he's 6 places tonight so far, Rob.
Yeah, strong showing early on for Jacob Fichtner, but the car behind him, Kyle Landon Morrison, in that purple and gray, I'm going to call it, Millennium Motorsports McLaren, up 12 spots so far from where he qualified. Definitely took advantage of that incident on lap 1, but right now, Ian Southern holds our top spot for far as movers and shakers, up 18 spots into 15th place. I believe that Ian actually qualified tail on the field, so he definitely was able to avoid that wreck, and he's profited from it so far. But he's got Joseph Carnes, who we saw spin not too long ago, trying to recover those spots that he lost. Currently 3 spots down from where he qualified. Joseph will be trying to catch that McLaren of Ian Southern up ahead and trying to make that move back around him shortly.
Yeah, it's interesting battles here. Let's take a look at Waldo Walden. Waldo, our top amateur right now, having a great season. A little bit bad luck last week, but Waldo is battling up there with the pro guys. He's between Jared Keane and Zach Mosley at present. Waldo always having great pace in that Porsche.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can keep out of the trouble this week. As I mentioned, he got a little boop last week. I believe Jay Steffi was another driver we saw get wrapped up in something last week. Just trying to take a look and see where he is. He's down 9 spots. I think he got wrapped up in that early lap 1 incident. So a couple of our drivers who unfortunately didn't have the greatest weeks last week. One of them, Waldo Walden, having a nice recovery. Jay Steffi not working out so well for him this week.
Yeah, Jay actually, I think he was involved in a earlier incident before the big one, as we call it, and just the two of them got a little off track. So, fortunate for Jay, I know he was looking forward to this week, working hard and trying to get going and moving up the field, but that's it's gonna be difficult from there.
Yeah, still plenty of time for our drivers to make some moves. We're just nearing the 10-minute mark, so we'll still have another 25 minutes left. Still have pit stops to get through. None of our cars have popped in that haven't had any kind of damage from that big wreck early on. As we see Jordan Spoon going off track, it's going to open up an opportunity for Jacob Fichtner to try and make a move, but in through the carousel, a little hard to try and stay on the power to make that move. As you kind of come in here full throttle, Rich, you kind of breathe the throttle, go mid-corner, let the car peek back into the apex, then back on it again. They're going to be going full throttle through the kink. No lifting through there with today's modern GT3 cars, but we're seeing here Fichtner getting a nice run into Candy Corner. Is he going to duck out and try and make a move? Nope, not this time. He's going to stay tucked in behind. Probably a wise move. He didn't have enough overrun to make that pass confidently. You're better off to stay back there and try and work together to catch the cars up ahead.
Yeah, the key to getting that move done is having a great exit out of the carousel, and he just didn't have that exit that he needed. Gonna go up a little further forward. Colin McKenzie sitting fourth. Colin having a great showing thus far, taking full advantage of other drivers and other issues going on, and it looks like, I believe this might be Colin's best position of the night if he can maintain it. He's got Herbert Pineda, though, looking to take advantage, and Herbert looking to get out of fifth place, move up on Colin, but Colin doing a great job thus far.
Yeah, not a bad run from Pineda either. He qualified in fourth, down to fifth right now, but holding tight on the back of Mackenzie's rear bumper, utilizing the draft, saving some fuel there. He and Patrick Farrell, they're just kind of comfortable sticking in behind Mackenzie. That trio was actually starting to chase down our lead trio. It was about 3 seconds back, but now it looks like they're only 1.2 back of David Bush, Tyler Graff, and Jason Park up ahead. So we might have a 6-car battle for top spots in the podium here shortly, Rich, if the trio Mackenzie, Pineda, Farrell keep working the way they have.
Yeah, they just finish up coming through turn 6 there. That is one of the tougher turns on this whole circuit, I think. We'll take a look at Jay Steffi. Jay trying to battle back and move back up the field, making a great move there. Jay taking advantage of, I believe that might have been Joseph Carnes.
Correct.
Joseph, a little earlier issue. Joseph down 4 positions in that Corvette. I was going to say we had Corvettes back to back with Zach Mosley, but little issues early on have set him back a little bit.
Yeah, Steffi and Carnes both on recovery runs, so see if the two of them can work up through the field together. As you see the front end of Alex Wright's car, that McLaren has a real strong punch on the front, so he definitely got tied up at the, I'm going to assume, the beginning of the race in that big wreck there. So that car is going to be a little aero angry.
Well, it's just a little flatter now, so it, maybe a little more downforce, or maybe, a little bit of a push bar if you need to do some bump drafting. But making his way up through the main straightaway, entering a Canada corner, sticking the nose out, just to let him know he's there, but not taking any serious choice of making a move.
Yeah, we'll take a look here. It looks like actually he got involved in, was it a little later in the ride? Actually got hit from behind first, car got squirrely, and then I think that was either Brett Thurman or Seb Gauthier in the SRTE car that was sideways, nowhere really for Wright to go. So we'll see if they can bang out the front end when he comes in for service to get a little more aero advantage on the front of that car. But right now he's battling with Mark Bray, and I believe that is lap car of, no, sorry, not lap car. It's Neil Alexander that Mark Bray is just making a move around there now. It's like Alexander going to duck in behind Mark Bray. And then Alex Wright going to make the move on Neil Alexander too as well.
Well, Alex Wright, I mean, he's got that punched in nose, but he's up 11 places right now, and that's nothing to sneeze at, Rob. I know that he took advantage of some freebies with some incidents there, but moving up 11 places is still a great job. Looks like that car's not too heavily damaged with the moves he's making right now.
No doubt. That's correction. Neil Alexander's a lap car. That's why he moved over and let them through, which we appreciate seeing. Neil back on track. He was one of the cars that got involved in early on incident. But we've got our BMW of Karsten Quinn. I believe he's the lone BMW on the grid here. We've got one BMW, one Ford, and then the usual plethora of Porsches, McLarens, Acuras, and looks like only one Corvette here, or two Corvettes this evening. So nice to see a little bit more variety here. I believe in the open series we have later, we've had a little more variety than we've had in the fixed series. So the Beamer, a welcome join to the grid. As we see the
Yeah, well,
Mustang just up ahead. Let's go and board here, Rick, and Rich, and have a listen to the Mustang. It's always great to hear that V8 muscle roar around the track.
well, it certainly sounds better than the Acura, doesn't it? As sorry, Acura drivers. It's a great car, but it just doesn't sound the best. Mark Bray going down into Canada Corner in that big beefy V8.
Oh, it looks like something happened to Jason Park when we were having a look at that battle. Further on, looks like he had another off track, and that allowed Colin McKenzie to get around him into third. Let's see what happened to Jason Park here. Oh, he's going to dive into the gravel too. Again, that's just going to slow up to the point into the carousel where Bush and Graff get by, but I'm not sure how McKenzie got by there too as well. Not sure if Park went off again, but we'll stick with this replay here for a minute to see how that pass was made. Park going side by side through the kink with Bush. You have to have a whole lot of confidence in the driver you're driving beside to go too wide through there. You're going to go 3 wide into Canada Corner. This is a risky move. Park wisely backs out of that because it was a bit of a lunatic sandwich there between McKenzie and David Bush. Neither one of them were backing out. Jason Park was the one that picked the short straw on that one, but he's still at the back of the 4-car battle here, so he didn't really lose a whole lot of time. Be able to utilize the draft and try and make a move or a play for another move later on.
Yeah, that little mistake there in turn 8 just before entering the carousel really cost him. If you don't get a great exit out of the carousel, it almost looked like he may have had to lift a little bit through the kink, and that just allowed Colin McKenzie to take full advantage and make it 3 wide there.
Yeah, it was.
We're going to take a look at Zach Mosley. Zach Mosley is following Waldo Walden and Jared Keane still. This little 3-car battle is ongoing as we enter into Canada Corner. We don't see any moves being made, though. Cooler heads are prevailing. Looks like these drivers are pushing to see if they can maybe do some catching up here. They've got a couple of 3 seconds almost to go if they want to get up to the pack ahead of them.
Oh, it's like Waldo Walden dropped a tire right onto the edge of the curb there, had to gather the car up, cost them a bit of time. Then you saw Mosley had to correct as they got onto the front straight. They're going to go 2x2 down the front straight. Mosley will make that pass, but Waldo Walden's going to need to tuck back in. Well, they had that little slip up that allowed Jared Keane to open up a 1-second gap over them. So I suspect if they stay tucked in here together, they'll be able to close that gap back on Keane and have another 3-car battle. But as we look up front, it's like Jason Park feeling the pressure from Patrick Farrell now. So we've seen Park drop a couple tires off, go into the kitty litter a couple times now. Not sure if he's caused any aero damage to his car, but he's fallen back off that trio up front. It's like Farrell going to try and make the move into turn 5 here. He's going to have the outside unpreferred line. Park will be in the inside. Park's going to drive it deep in there, force Farrell out wide. Farrell's going to collect it up. Had to back into the throttle a little bit as the back end wiggled. Have to tuck in behind. Park's going to hold on to that spot for now, but Acura doesn't look overly happy. The rear tire is starting to be a little overheated. He's having to gather the car up, see it getting a little squirrely, Rich. He's going to want to try and cool them down here. He's going to lose the back end.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and all this battling is sent Jason Park well back of third place Colin McKenzie. Now he's just fighting for his life here in fourth, but a great battle going through the carousel between these 3 drivers. It's really about exit speed here and catching the draft. Herbert Pineda looking to make some moves here. Herbert's down 2 positions, so he wants to get back up to where he was earlier, following tightly behind Patrick Farrell. Patrick Farrell right behind Jason Park. Everybody following in line, though, and doesn't look like anybody's making any big... Oh! Sticks the nose out, but no, just letting him know he's there, Rob. Not making any moves. Just pointing the nose out, opening up that corner, and battling hard. We're going to take a look back here. Ian Southern driving in the Acura, making a great charge on Joseph Carnes. Ian is sitting up 17 positions right now, Rob.
Yeah, Ian was our he was up 18 positions earlier. As I mentioned, he started at the tail end of the field. Dropped back one spot when Joseph Carms got around him, but it looks like we've got couple of our leaders in David Bush III into the pits, Herbert Pinedo, Waldo Walden, and it looks like Andrew Venero into as well. So we've got some early undercut takers here, Rich. Be interested to see how that plays out this week at Road America. It hasn't worked for anybody that's really tried it in the past week. So we'll see if it works out here with it being more of a really draft heavy track. You can save that fuel and have a car to draft with it. And you come out, it might be a little bit of an advantage here. But we'll see as Colin McKenzie now putting some pressure on the back of Tyler Graff.
Yeah, I'm never a big fan of doing the early pit stop unless you're being held up by people. But hey, I'm not as smart a field strategist as David Bush III, so I'm not going to say my way's the right way. He knows what he's doing when it comes to pits and field strategy. Tyler Graff, meanwhile, doing a great job. He's led from the pole, from the drop of the green flag. But meanwhile, he's got the lead. But Colin McKenzie's done a great job getting up nice and close and getting himself into draft range here as we're exiting the carousel and going down that long straight. Colin having a great run tonight.
Yeah, great showing for him. Up 4 spots. Hasn't had the best of season so far. A couple races where he's got wrapped up in some incidents, but putting some pressure on the back of Tyler Graff. Last laps for McKenzie, 204.9 to Graff's 205.2. So 0.3 quicker there for McKenzie. McKenzie actually with the, I believe, fastest lap of the race, 204.5 to Tyler Graff's 205.0. So there's some pace in that Acura tonight. As I mentioned early on, the Porsche generally not one of the quickest GT3s in a straight line. And there's a whole bunch of straight lines at Road America. Really got to kind of take advantage of the twisty section. Looks like the two of them are going to come into the pits.
Yeah, very early pit stops tonight compared to what we've seen in the past from the leaders. So this is interesting. I'm not sure if the fuel tanks are just a little bit more constrained with this big flowing track or not, Rob. Once again, we look at the QR code on the side of Tyler Graff's chart.
Could be, but I'm showing right now. I'm having a look at my timing and scoring, and this is the first time I've turned on the pit out position indicator in the timing and scoring here. And right now it's suggesting that Tyler Graff is going to come out somewhere in around 10th place. David Bush right now in 13th place. So it'll be interesting to see how accurate that pit out position indicator is. As there's David Bush now heading down the front straight. And we see Tyler Graff and Colin McKenzie heading out of the exit. Looks like McKenzie was able to leapfrog Graff through pit strategy there. David Bush had to get onto the binders as Graff and McKenzie came out right in front of him. So it looked like the pit out position was actually pretty accurate. Graff came right in front of David Bush III, but Bush III is going to have advantage having his tires back up to temp. Or it's going to take Graff and McKenzie about a half a lap or so to get those tires back up to temp.
Yeah, it's nice to see though. We got a little bit of a shuffling of position. Colin McKenzie taking great advantage. David Bush all over the back of Tyler Graff. Sticks the nose right up the back, making a move down the inside on turn 5. Battle side by side through this tough corner, entering up into the uphill. See if it looks like David Bush's got the advantage here on the inside. And if as long as he can get that cleared off, and he's gonna, yep. There we go. Nice pass by David Bush. Tyler Graff tucking in behind.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Graff's tires not quite back up to temp yet, so he couldn't battle as hard as he probably wanted to. Rich had to kind of bail out a little bit. Bush taking advantage of that extra lap, having his tires back up to full temp. But while they battled, that allowed Colin McKenzie to pull almost 2 seconds on them. So he's got the lap car of Neil Alexander between he and his competitors, David Bush III and Tyler Graff. But Jason Park looks like his pit cycle's through. He was able to gain back up closer to that battle. We saw him fall back and having to deal with Patrick Farrell and Herbert Pineda. So Park now only 1 second back of Tyler Graff. So we'll see if he's got something for them here in the back half of the race.
Yeah, Park had a little issue there when the top 3 got by him, but no harm, no foul. He's right there now with the guys, and looks like they're starting to close down on Colin McKenzie up front too. So it looks like we may have ourselves a nice 4-car battle here, Rob, for the lead in another lap or so.
Yeah, it looks like our second and third place car is getting around the lap traffic of Neil Alexander. He's going to stay wide and let them through as a proper gentleman. Saw Neil do that earlier with a few other cars, and that's what we like to see when the lap cars come into play with the leaders. But looks like Waldo Walden has Zach Mosley on his tailpipe now. Zach up 2 spots, Waldo up 2 spots from where they both qualify. They are our first and second in the AM class right now. So strong showing from those two. Jacob Fichtner, our third place driver in AM, 5 seconds back of this battle. So we've got 3 AM drivers firmly planted in the top 10.
Yeah, once again, the AM drivers making a strong showing in the mix here with the pros. And let's go back up to the front. We've got Colin McKenzie still leading David Bush III. Tyler Graff, now he's got his tires warmed up. He's ready to battle. And Jason Park are right behind them. We got the 3 cars pretty much nose to tail, trying to track down Colin McKenzie, who's got himself about a 1.25 second lead over this pack of 3.
Yeah, McKenzie loves to see that battle in behind him, definitely. The more they battle, that's going to allow him to try and pull away, Rich. But it's interesting to see if that Lambo's got the top speed to chase down the Acura up ahead. We've seen that the Porsche definitely doesn't have the top speed, so maybe Tyler Graff is better served sitting in P3 there, tucked in behind David Bush, utilizing the draft.
Yeah, the Acura's had some top end all season long. We've seen in both the fixed and open series. It seems to really excel at the high speed sections of tracks. We're going to take a look back in this battle here with Jared Keane, Herbert Pineda, and I believe that's Patrick Farrell up ahead. And these 3 guys have been battling for a number of laps now, and not a whole lot of changes going on. They're pushing hard, and looks like they're staying nose to tail and just kind of following the leaders, trying to move up and catch the guys ahead of them if they can.
Yeah, we had saw Farrell and Pineda, battling with Jason Park before the pit cycle. So a little bit slower pit in and out for Farrell and Pineda. They fell back a little bit, but Jared Keane has gathered them up. You see Keane going a little wide out of turn 1. It drops a couple tires into the grass, holds on to it though. In years past, iRacing would have actually sent you for a hell of a spin into the wall, Rich, and it would have been the end of your day. So nobody longs for those days again, but it's nice to see you can actually drop tires in. Don't have to worry about really losing a whole lot of pace or the back end of the car. But just behind this battle, we've got Waldo Walden and Zach Mosley. As Mosley looks to the inside of Waldo Walden, they're going to rub a little bit. They're going to both keep going. It looks like Waldo Walden going to hold on to that spot. Mosley going to tuck in behind, potentially make a move up in the inside. Waldo gives him some room. Mosley not quite enough overrun to make that pass. Waldo's going to hold on to overall, and that's also top spot in AM.
And these guys are having a great battle. It looks like Zach's doing everything he can to try and get by Waldo, but Waldo's having none of it. Now we got Zach on the inside going through the carousel. This is going to get a little dicey here, Rob. We saw how this worked out the last time. It looks like Zach may have this move done, but that may just set up Waldo for a better exit here, and a nice big draft down this long straightaway with all we've got is this little kink. They're going full out. Waldo's going to have a big draft going into Canada Corner. Might see some little excitement here.
Yeah, we'll see if Walden in the Porsche they will get enough overrun to make the move. Doesn't look like he's going to have it this time by. Mosley going to hold on to that spot. We've seen that the Corvette's got a little stronger top end pace than what the Porsche does. But we got another battle back here between Carson Quint and Ian Southern, are 2 of our biggest movers and shakers so far. Southern just ahead of Quint in the purple and gray. McLaren up 16 spots. Quint up 14 spots in that black and red BMW. So strong showing by both of these drivers, firmly planted in the top 20. This is the battle for 17th and 18th overall.
Yeah, it's a when you're starting near mid to back of the pack, it's tough on a big track like this. But both drivers taking full advantage of incidents ahead of them and some nice clean driving and moving up through the field. Carson Quint sitting 18th, like you said, 14th. Moving up 14 positions. Ian Southern ahead of him, up 16 positions. David Morse up ahead of them, up 15 positions. These drivers making huge gains tonight.
Yeah, a lot of drivers taking advantage of that early on incident that we've lost. I believe it was 6 to 7 cars called it quits at that point in time. Another few cars kept going around, definitely with some damage. And we saw Alex Wright was one of those cars. Looks like they banged out the front of that car fairly nicely, Rich. The hood not quite buckled up as much as what it was. Still a little bit of damage on the front end, but he's trying to battle with Alex Hillman up ahead. That's for 10th and 11th in AM. And it's also 21st and 22nd overall.
Yeah, Alex lost a bunch of positions in pits because he spent some extra time getting some damage repaired. It looks like, Rob, and hopefully that time spent in the pits pays off for him in terms of pace, and he's getting all over the back there. And gonna go up near the front again. Tyler Graf sitting in second. Colin McKenzie's still holding a 1.5 second gap over Tyler. Tyler followed closely by Jason Park. David Bush III sitting another half second back of them.
Yeah, it looks like we had Tyler Graf and David Bush swaps a couple spots here back and forth. Let's see what happened. It looks like Graf was making a move into turn 5. Bush fought back on the outside. Graf went back on the inside, but I think Graf's going to hold on to that spot as they head underneath, and that's moved him up into second overall. And it looks like Jason Park took advantage of that too as well, moving himself into third. That's going to drop our second place driver in the championship standings of the pro side, David Bush III, down to fourth behind his championship competitor, Tyler Graf, who's now up into second place.
Yeah, Tyler's had a strong season. Every week we see him up there either leading or fighting for the lead, and he's there once again tonight, just 1.3 seconds behind Colin McKenzie. We're going to go back here. We're following Jared Keane. Jared Keane behind Herbert Pineda. These two have been close the whole night long, and it looks like Jared trying to make a move on the outside. No, just sticking the nose out, letting him know that he's there. Filling up his mirrors a little bit here as they go up and start in that entry into turn 5. The nice, tough, technical, big elevation change, and it flattens out. You're on the brakes. Braking power also diminishes, and you got to make that tough corner there.
Yeah, it looked like Pineda got a little squirrely drop tire into the gravel. Thought Keane was going to try and make a move to the inside, but he thought better of it. Didn't quite have enough room to make that maneuver. See Keane using up all the track width that he can, drop some tires into the gravel, trying to maximize his acceleration out of the corners. But Patrick Farrell, who they were battling with, has pulled away this two-car battle. He's now closing in on David Bush III. Up ahead, only 1 second between Bush III and Patrick Farrell now. We're just at about 3.5 minutes to go, so probably only about 2 more laps. Rich, as our lead pack heading to the start-finish line now, as we just got out of camera shot there. Tyler Graf and Jordan Spoon both dropping some tires into the dirt on the exit of Canada Corps. I believe they call that Bill Mitchell corner, but around the final bend and up to the straight. So going to complete another lap, and we see Barney not with the white flag out yet. We'll watch the cars come by, see if he whips it out. But nope, that's going to give us 2 more laps around here, Rich. This is getting close to do or die for our top 5.
Yeah, and Colin McKenzie, he did have a 1.5 second lead. That's dropped down to like 0.9 seconds. So Tyler Graf, Jason Park making moves, trying to close that gap down, trying to take advantage. They've only got less than 2 laps left now, and if they want to take over that lead, first they got to close that gap down and give themselves a chance on the last lap here.
Yeah, I wonder if it could be a possibility of not quite enough fuel for McKenzie. I'm looking at his pit time, 11.9 seconds in the stall to 12.7 for Graf, 12.6 for Park, and 12.4 for Bush. So McKenzie definitely much quicker in and out of the stall, almost a half second over a lot of the field. So we'll see if he's got enough fuel to make it to the end. Looks like he might be lifting and coasting a little bit, try and make that final lap. He's definitely starting to feel the pressure from Tyler Graf and Jason Park.
Yeah, and he's been leading ever since coming out of the pits, so he hasn't been able to make use of that draft to do a little fuel saving. So now the gap is down to 0.6 seconds with this long straightaway coming up, and that long straightaway is going to allow Tyler Graf and Jason Park to close it up tight. I think, Rob, we're going to see a really interesting and exciting final lap, I hope.
Yeah, it's going to come down to definitely whether McKenzie has enough fuel to keep pushing forward, or if he's going to have to bow out to Graf and Park. But looks like David Bush III starting to work on closing that gap. We saw that Patrick Farrell was starting to close him in, but Bush now is starting to pull away from him. This could be a last lap push for David Busch, try and get back ahead of Tyler Graff to try and close that championship points gap on him. But right now, Graff looking strong as he closes right up on the back bumper of Colin McKenzie. Now the run down the front straight. McKenzie's going to go a little wide. It's going to compromise his exit speed. We'll see if Graff gets enough run in that Porsche to make a move into turn one. Jason Park right there to take advantage if something happens too as well.
Yeah, this is what we've been waiting for all night, folks. We're coming into the final lap, going into turn one. Colin McKenzie still holding off Tyler Graff. Jason Park up tight in third. It's a three-car battle, it looks like. And, wow, Tyler Graff using all the track and then some, but maintaining a second position. Here we go. We're going through turn two. We've got just 12 more corners to go after this. Colin McKenzie doing a masterful job so far, maintaining this lead over the guys behind him. It's just a matter of time, though. They're going to try and make some bites. Let's see if Colin's got anything to defend with.
As they head down into turn five, we'll see if anybody makes a move to the inside. Looks like Graff thinks about looking to the inside. He's going to try the move. They touch just ever so slightly. McKenzie able to keep going. Jason Park thought about making a move, but David Busch, the third, now into this battle. Looks to the inside of Jason Park. He's going to try and make the move in around turn six. Not able to do it. Short little shoot, turn seven, down into turn eight. Looks like Busch the third is going to take that spot away from Jason Park. It's going to move him up into third. Not sure if he's got enough time to try and catch Tyler Graff, but Jason Park not ready to just give up that position, trying to fight back on the outside. Just up ahead, Colin McKenzie now with half a second over Tyler Graff. That overtake attempt into turn five's dropped Graff back a little bit. We'll see if he's able to gather up enough speed through the carousel kink in Canada corner section to try and make a maneuver here. But right now, it looks like he's too far back. McKenzie, if he's got the fuel, should be able to hold this one.
Yeah, he should be in. But meanwhile, behind, we've got, we'll go back to Tyler Graff. Let's see if he's got anything here. Entering Canada corner, he's going to have to brake real late. Make him, and here we go. David Busch still holding off Jason Park. And Jason Park off the track there. That allows Patrick Farrell to take advantage. Patrick Farrell jumping up into fourth place.
Oh, McKenzie's out of fuel. He's out of fuel.
Oh, no. That's Tyler Graff coming around. Tyler Graff is going to be taking, Tyler Graff's making me messed up. Tyler Graff taking the win there. I thought he was diving into the pits, Rob.
Graff going to take the win. Busch the third, second Farrell into third. Park's going to fall to fourth. Colin McKenzie falling all the way back. Looks like he's going to coast. Can he get to the line? Oh, man, he's so close. Hopefully somebody doesn't clear him out on the front straight, but painful there. He's one corner away from taking the victory. Barney just kind of staring down on him, not even bothering to wave the flag. It's unfortunate.
That's
Barney,
a look of shame there, Rob.
Yeah, Barney's quit on us tonight, not even waving the flag. But here comes Joseph Carnes and Robert Jeffries up the front straight. They're going to blast past Colin McKenzie at the line. McKenzie's still not making the line. Josh Sheps and Ian Southern head up to the checkered flag. Looks like McKenzie has towed. Wasn't able to make it. That's unfortunate end to a what could have been a brilliant race. Only needed another couple milliseconds of fuel, and he would have made it all the way home in that one. But as we head back here to David Morse, looks like David is going to be the final car on the lead lap. Once he crosses the line, we should be going official. But unfortunate for Colin McKenzie there. We'll see if we can get a quick replay here, possibly if I can find it, where the moment he ran out of fuel and Tyler Graff was able to leapfrog around him for the win.
You got to really feel for Colin on that one, Rob. Just, I thought it was his night. I think we both thought it was his night, and then it wasn't. As we watch David Morse cross the line here to finish off this race for us.
As we go on board here with Tyler Graff, you see Colin McKenzie had to bail to the outside there. Just not quite enough fuel there for him. I almost think he might have been better off to let Graff by on the back straight before Canada corner. He used a little bit of draft to get to the end there. But unfortunately, what could have been is only going to be what was at this point in time. But that's going to make it official for this one. Let's take a look at the final results. Oh, there we go.
Our race winner tonight.
Yeah, Tyler Graff brings it home. Top spot, David Bush in second, Patrick Farrell in third, Jason Park in fourth, Herbert Pineda in fifth, Jared Keene in sixth, Zach Mosley, our top AM in seventh, Waldo Walden in eighth, Jacob Fichtner in ninth, Andrew Venero in 10th.
And we've got Kyle Morrison in 11th, followed by Jay Steffi, that early incident in 12th. Robert Jeffries follows up in 13th, followed by Joseph Carnes in 14th. We've Karsten Quinst, Josh Sheps, Ian Southern, Mark Bray, Alan Wright, and Alex Hillman rounding out our top 20.
And then we're going to get into 21st, David Morse, Colin McKenzie, feet from the line is going to fall one lap down. Andrew Trickett in 2030 in Cabana, Neil Alexander, Kevin Berquist, Dale Peterson, Chris Rhines, Derek Rice, Dave Jensen, Jordan Spoon, Brett Thurman, Seb Goche, all our used car parking lot at the tail end of this one. Unfortunate for them. You hate to see that, but we've got a few drivers in the booth. Rich, waiting for interview. Let's pick up with Tyler Graff. Rich, and why don't you talk to Tyler and see how his race went?
Hey, Tyler, congratulations once again.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know. That one doesn't feel great. That was Colin's race. Colin beat us out of the pits. Colin drove away from us and we battled. That was Colin's race to win. So, I don't know. I'm gutted for him. You never want to drive around somebody like that with two corners left. It's just kind of. I've been on the other end of it and it sucks. So, yeah, just it kind of gutted for him and yeah.
It definitely does, and I think we've all been there. But there was a reason he was able to jump you guys in the pits, and unfortunately, it cost him at the end. And wow, you had strong pace all night tonight. Up until that pit stop, you guys had some great battles up front. You, as well as Jason Park and David Bush. So, how'd the race go for you? Did it go according to plan, or?
Honestly, I kind of felt just sloppy the whole time. I kind of spent the whole race taking care of the rear tires because once those went, it became very difficult. And so I was backing up my corner entries and getting on the throttle a little bit later. And I think I was kind of unintentionally backing Bush up into Park. But I don't know. When they got by me, I actually wasn't that upset because I wanted to save fuel. So I don't know. It just ended up working out. I don't know if I've had a race like down to the last 3 laps that was just that nail biting and that exciting though. I mean, that's really only something you can get in GT3 cars with guys racing that you trust. So hats off to everybody here and Throttle Freaks.
Yeah, Rob and I loved watching that. We knew it'd be exciting, and you guys certainly made it. So, okay, Tyler, it's that time of the night where you get to give your shout out. Let's hear it.
Shout out to guys at Lunatic for letting me hang out during practice, guys at MadWorks for being my bros, and Corporation Pops out June 27th or 17th. Something with a 7.
Awesome.
We'll get it next week.
Hey, there's some confidence. We'll see you next week, and congratulations once again.
See ya.
Again, that was our winner, Tyler Graff, taking advantage of a little bit of fuel savings strategy at the end. But let's take a quick little chat here with P3, Patrick Farrell. Patrick, nice run out there. You were able to kind of close the gap on our top pack at the end. Looks like you had a little bit of pace out there. You qualified third, able to get back up into third. How did your race go for you?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was a really wild last lap there, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, started off a little rough in first lap there, but just kept putting pressure on to the top 5 there, just watching the battles, and it was fun to catch them at the end, and looked like a little bit of fuel strategy helped a little bit too, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Unfortunate fuel strategy didn't work out for Colin McKenzie, but worked out in your favor. Next week we head to Coda. I mentioned on broadcast that Coda is a track that a lot of drivers either really like it, really hate it. I find it's great in open wheel cars, not really so much in GT cars. Which side of the like or hate scenario do you stand on?
Yeah, I mean, Coda, when it first came out on the sim, didn't like it at all. I've learned to like it a little bit more over time, but yeah, think it's got a few too many turns there. Maybe a little too technical for me. I'm more of a fan of these more old school tracks like Watkins Glen or Road America here. So
Excellent. You got a friend in us in the booth, then Patrick. Those are our type of tracks. But anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
yeah, well, of course, the wife. Got to thank her for everything, and then Millennium Motorsports. Talked to Dave Jensen here, and just the other month, and gave me the opportunity to race in the team here, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm glad to be racing with you guys too. So look forward to next week.
Excellent. Best of luck next week to you, Patrick, and hopefully we see you in here again.
Sounds good.
That was Patrick Farrell, our third place finisher, and we're gonna check in quickly with Zach Mosley, our AM winner. Rich, what's Zach got to say?
Hey, Zach,
fellas.
congratulations.
Appreciate it, guys.
Zach, Road America is a favorite track of Rob's and mine, and well, hey, what's better at Road America than a Corvette? So, how'd that race go for you?
Overall, pretty good. Definitely was caught driving in my mirrors going into 5. The one lap where I kind of drove it off. I let Walden through to the lead, and I just kind of focused on trying to fuel save. Didn't do much for me. It definitely kept us closer, probably than we would have been without it. But I just focused on hitting marks and trying to get it to the finish line.
Oh, well, that's you did a great job tonight. It was nice to see, and congratulations. Beautiful paint job. We're just taking a look at the car going around the track now in slow motion as we do this interview. Coda's next week. How do you like that track, and what do you think of your chances there?
Coda's definitely in my bottom 3 favorite tracks of all time. Can't stand the place, so I don't expect to speak to y'all next week. If I do, it's an absolute miracle. You mentioned the paint. I do want to throw this out there real quick. For all the guys who raced in PRL, this should be a paint job that they recognize and remember. This was a tribute to a team member who unfortunately passed away last year, so this win's definitely for Martin.
Yeah, and we appreciate that, Zach. Rob and I, and well, I've known Martin for many years personally in person, and we appreciate that tribute. So, congratulations once again. Anybody you'd like to shout out tonight?
Big shout out to the guys over at SCR, all of our sponsors: Oakley, Jordan, Monster, Abruzzi, Grid. Again, I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple. Also, my wife, God bless her, she's an absolute angel. She's definitely my calm when I get frustrated trying to figure out how to drive the car. My dad's currently watching, so Dad, I appreciate you staying up and watching the race. And guys, y'all do a great broadcast, so we greatly appreciate it.
Well, thanks a lot, Zach, and congratulations. And hey, let's see some miracles next week. Let's get the interview again next week.
10-4, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Okay, that was Zach Mosley, our AM winner. Congratulations to him. And Rich, we're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll switch over to the Sprint Series in a matter of moments. So stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, Rich, we are back again, this time in the sprint series. Same track, same cars, 5 minutes longer, open setups for our drivers. And we've got qualifying underway with only a few minutes to go in qualifying. So let's take a quick look here and see how things are shaping out in qualifying as it stands. Right now, it looks like we've got
Yeah,
Jim
right now.
Feliz up top of the standings.
Yeah, and it looks like Fernando Hackes is liking this track. He's right up nice and tight there in the Ferrari. Fernando not having as much pace the last couple of weeks, and looks like that pace has been found.
Yeah, we saw the Ferraris weren't overly happy the last couple weeks at Mugello last week and Portimao Circuit del Algarve the week before. So interesting to see the Ferraris. Well, actually, we only got the one Ferrari here tonight, Fernando Jacques. It doesn't look like Nene Tavares is on in the field, his teammate. So interesting to see how it works out for Fernando. We've seen the two of them kind of work together in most of the races, try and make their way up towards the front. So see if Fernando can find somebody else to draft with.
Yeah, it's definitely a track where you're going to be drafting. So as we saw earlier in the fixed series, we're going to take a look here. Jim Feliz coming around the exit of Canada Corner, just up in this 14 turn circuit, coming up into the final 14th corner, leading up to that uphill straightaway and pit entry. Long straight uphill, then it flattens out, leading into a big sweeping turn 1.
Yeah, well, looks like Flea's going to go around for another lap. Let's go on board with him, as you mentioned, into turn 1, long straightaway, uphill, and then downhill here as we get the lap car coming out of the pits there, bailing off. But looks like it's Kevin Simpson just up ahead of Feliz. Feliz, our current pole sitter. So Jim hasn't had the best of luck the last couple weeks. I believe last week he had a wreck on lap 1. So if he starts at the front of the field, Rich, it should be less of a chance for that. But around turn 3, under the cheese bridge, and down through the little bit of the kink here, they call that turn 4. I don't know where they get a 4th turn out of that, but into turn 5 here, heavy braking section. You want to brake in around the 2 marker, take it out wide as Jim's doing. Dive back to the inside, just kind of keep it off that gravel on the inside, brake underneath the Corvette bridge, tuck into the left side, use up all the track width on the outside there. And this is more or less flat out in the sprint series with the ability to change the setups. That's going to be a flat out corner. I believe in the fix, it might have been just a slight little breathe of the throttle into turn 8 here, and then they head into the carousel. It's a section where you can see numerous lines, Rich. Some guys will just stay real tight. Some guys will kind of let the car drift out a little bit, as we see Jim doing, then bring it back and double apexing the corner. Then heavy onto the throttle here underneath the Mission Bridge, into the kink, flat out through here again. Bring it all the way out, drop a tire into the grass, no off track there. Down into the braking section for Canada Corner. You're going to want to brake at about the 3 board and then get it turned in to the right. Use up all that track width. It's actually wider than it looks when you first come in there, but that gravel comes up on you real quick. 2 more corners to go, and then we'll see what kind of lap here Feliz can put in for his final lap. Currently sitting on pole, the 2:03.2. We'll see if he's able to improve that this time by.
Yeah, he's it looks like Fernando Jacques is in the pits, so Fernando's not going to be passing him. See where Jim goes coming up that last final hill, approaching Barney. Let's see what he does.
2:03.4, so
no,
not quicker. He's going to hold on to his pole position though, but still the top spot. But it looks like top 3 only separated by 1/10, so it'll be interesting to see how the battle between Feliz, Jacques, and Simpson go. But that's going to do it for qualifying. We still get a couple cars on track finishing up their final lap here. Juan Malagon, our current 6th place, he's going to drop into the pits there. Matt Stadnik, so he's heading into the final set of corners here. Rich, currently sitting in 9th place. We'll see if he's got any improvement on time.
Yeah, Matt Stadnik he's had some good pace overall this season, including a 1 overall victory. Matt sitting 9th overall, wanting to move up, and let's see what Matt's got here.
Looks like he doesn't improve on his time. Unfortunate for him. He's going to, looks like, stay in 7th or 9th place as timing and scoring has just clicked over. And let's take a look at our grid here, Rich. Take us through it.
Yeah, in first on pole, Jim Feliz in the SRT orange car, followed in second by Fernando Jaquez. Kevin Simpson sitting third, followed by our top amateur, Corey Sircone. In fifth, we've got amateur Evan McKay, followed by Juan Malagon in sixth. Seventh, we got Joey Costello, followed in eighth by Oliver Rodriguez. Then we have Matt Stadnick, followed by Luis Gruon. In 11th, we've got Emmett Lindquist, followed by Douglas Curry in 12th.
And then 13th place, we're going to find Devin Brock. In 14th, Blake, Don't Call Me Baked, Ziti. David Mendonça in 15th. I'm actually surprised to see Mendonça that far back. Normally he's one of our top runners, so I suspect to see him run through the field fairly quickly. Sean Carmody in 16th, Nestor Santana in 17th, Ivan Basono in 18th, Fernando Torres in 19th, Aaron Lewis in 20th, Pete Mejia in 21st, Josh Spears in 22nd, Adam Ostrich in 23rd. Oh, look, Greg Millen. Who's that guy? That's Richard Swindell's alias. And then looks like Daniel Zippy Salmon. Zippy on the mic. Our head cheese at Pit Road Productions has jumped into this one. So we'll see what kind of follies he can have out there on track, Rich.
Yeah, I'd like to see him take the grid. I'm not sure if he's going to, and it's always nice to commentate on your boss, isn't it?
It's even more fun to make fun of him. So we'll see how it, how it works out for him there. But
well, he's not going to fire us midstream, so we're good.
I can let you know he is on grid there, Rich. That final Lamborghini car 659 belongs to Daniel Zippy Salmon. So we'll see if he takes it the field into turn one, or if he's got anything for us here. But we're just waiting for the pace car to pull away. And then we have another short pace lap underway here as well this week. So we again appreciate that that being the case.
Our final and only Lamborghini, if I'm not mistaken. I expect to see some great action here, Rob. We saw some great action in the fixed series. This is 5 minutes longer, 40 minutes, one pit stop for fuel. Nobody should be taking tires. Like to see it a little bit cleaner than when we saw the last race, and these guys are going to battle hard, and I think we're going to see some great action at Road America, our favorite track.
Yeah, as I mentioned in race one, the greatest track in the world. You can at me if you don't like it. I will argue till the death. Road America, greatest track in the world. You have at least 3 great overtaking opportunities. Plus, you can always utilize the draft to close that back up. There's never bad racing in Road America. There might be some bad wrecks, but there's never bad racing.
Yeah, technical sections, high-speed sections, drafting sections, off-camber, this, that, the other. Here we go, though. We're coming up to the straightaway. We're climbing that big, steep hill, looking at Barney. Barney's got the green flag out. We got Jim Feliz on pole. Jim getting a nice jump, tucking in right behind with Fernando Jaquez, closing off Kevin Simpson. We're going down. We got 1, 2, 3, and it looks like we got 3, 4 wide, maybe down in the midfield. Let's see how we go through here.
Looks like so far so clean into turn one, Rich. Much better start than we saw in our fixed race, but Feliz going to hold on to his pole position. Fernando Jaquez in second, Kevin Simpson in third, Corey Sircone, in fourth, Evan McKay in fifth. So it looks like all the way back to our 6th place cars. They've tucked in neatly where they've qualified. Oliver Rodriguez Santos up 1 spot in the 7th. That bumps Joey Costello down to 8th.
As we're coming down into the very tough downhill turn 5, Jim Feliz strongly out front. Fernando Jaquez, though, all the cars looking nose to tail, falling in a line, a couple too wide back about mid-pack, but overall, these guys have got it all straightened out, assuming their track position, and now just getting ready, getting those tires heated up before they start making their moves.
Yeah, it looks like Fernando Torres and Aaron Lewis had an incident early on. Let's take a quick look here at what happened to them. Torres in the red Porsche heading down into the braking section. Looks like he just kind of outbrakes himself, taps the back end of Lewis, and they both go around there. So nothing major. Looks like they both should be able to carry on. Just a little bit of minor damage and more time lost than anything else.
Yeah, it was almost looked like he just got in a little deeper than he was expecting, and that was a move that was never going to work. Go back up to the front, though. We got Jim Feliz still holding off Fernando Jaquez, Kevin Simpson in third, Corey Sircone in fourth. basically that we've got four of the top five are Acuras. Fernando Hackes, the lone Ferrari, sitting second.
Oh, looks like something happened to Joey Costello, who's falling back through the pack fairly quickly here. I'm going to take a look and see what happened to Joey Costello. Lost a number of spots here. Costello in the black, orange, and white SRT car. Oh, into Canada corner, just runs wide, just going to tap the tire wall. He'll have to get himself back on track, but that cost him a ton of spots, down to 22nd place.
Yeah, I think Joey there just missed his braking marker and bailed out to the left to avoid taking anybody out. Well done, Joey. Took the hit for himself and didn't cause anybody else any damage.
Not sure what's going on with our replay screen here, Rich, but seems to be stuck in replay mode here. I'm going to quickly restart the timing and scoring. We'll stick on this battle here with Jim Feliz and Fernando Hackes.
Yeah, Jim Feliz, he's led from the start of this race. Jim doing a great job holding off Fernando. Fernando's had great pace on some of the tracks here and has been a race winner. Jim in the SRT car looking to take full advantage of his pole position. Jim going down into turn 5, it looks like. Coming up in the uphill section, looks like we got timing and scoring. Sorry, that was turn 8. They're coming into the carousel. Very technical section. You want to get this, like Rob was saying earlier, you've got multiple lines through here, but the key is how's the exit, because long straightaway. Big long straightaway with just a slight kink in 11, going all the way up to corner 12, Canada corner.
Yeah, Canada corner, a great overtaking opportunity. We see one of the SRTE cars, and behind there, that was Evan McKay just behind Corey Sircone, trying to drop in a tire in through the kink there, but gets gathered back up. Those two teammates, see if they can work together, try and chase down that lead trio up ahead. But they've got a few more teammates in behind them of the SRT cars, or sorry, SRT cars of Oliver Rodriguez, Juan Malagon, and Luis Grullon in behind. Looks like those three working together to try and chase down the SRT green cars up ahead.
Yeah, and they've had consistent pace this season. Juan Malagon, Alvaro Rodriguez Santos have been up near the front. Luis Grullon doing a great job. He's an amateur, but has been racing like a pro tonight.
Yeah, we've seen Grullon kind of battling up amongst the pros regularly throughout this season, so he's definitely got the pace more weeks than not, Rich. So no surprise to see him up there again this evening, battling with his teammates and some of the other pro drivers up top of the field. But so we've got a bit of a log jam here as the teammates battle here. Juan Malagon and Oliver Rodriguez Santos. Looks like Santos going to let Malagon go by, but they've got a battle of cars. They got Lindquist, Stadnik, Corey, Brock, Seedy, Mendonça, Carmody, all in behind.
Yeah, I think tucking back in line is a smart decision there. Maybe they made a little swap who had a little better pace, because if they try and battle, you've got 8 cars coming right on your tail, and you don't want that if you can avoid it.
Definitely not. Definitely not. As we are on board here with Emmett Lindquist, currently in 9th spot, up 2 spots from where he started. He's leading this kind of third pack of Stadnik, Corey, Brock, CD, trying to chase down the 3 teammates up ahead of Malagon, Rodriguez, Santos, and Grullon. So C was able to tow them up there. Stadnik's dropped back a little bit off Lindquist. He's got Douglas Corey and Devin Brock not too far behind. But I'm actually surprised. I thought David Mendonça would work his way up through the field a little quicker than he has, but see if he's got anything in store here. But I watched Mendonça in a World GT race the other day with some heavy hitters, and he was out front for the majority of the race. Fell back a couple spots towards the end, but fighting in amongst 5, 6, 7, 8, 9K drivers, so he's definitely got the pace. We'll see if he's able to make his way up.
Now, this is an open setup series, Rob, so I'm just wondering if he just maybe might have missed the setup a little bit, or maybe Road America, you know, everybody's got their favorite tracks. It's ours. Maybe it's not his.
I think we have to take a look at this, though, Rich. Daniel Salmon, let's see what happened to him. So he loses the back end, goes off track. He's going to pull it back on track. So we can't miss an opportunity to make fun of our fearless leader, Daniel Salmon.
Yeah, we can be bribed not to show those things, but we weren't. So there you go, folks. We can broadcast. We can't necessarily race well. And with that all said, Daniel is up one position on the night so far, so he's doing an okay job so far.
Yeah, we'll give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt there. But so we pick back up here with Corey Saccone and Evan McKay, our two teammates battling top AM drivers right now, 4th and 5th. Timing and scoring not cooperating with me with actually highlighting the colors of the car, but those are our two top AM drivers. 3rd place in AM is actually 7th place Luis Grullon, up 3 spots. So he's actually our biggest mover in the AM class. Oh, sorry, correction. Pete Mejia in 17th, our biggest mover, up 4 spots. But Luis Grullon just behind this twosome, as he's not too far back now. He's kind of leading the charge of the CRT drivers, but Emmett Lindquist caught up to the back of this 3-car pack. See if the 3 or actually 4 cars now can try and close in on the teammates of Saccone and McKay up ahead.
Yeah, it's long straightaway here. They definitely want to keep Emmett Lindquist behind them. Emmett wanting to get at least by one of these cars shortly, because it's always hard to get past 3 teammates, and that's 3 stacked against 1, and Emmett's got his battle. He's in for a tough, but he's proven and shown us in the past weeks that he's got pace, and he can make some moves. So let's see if he can get this job done here.
Yeah, we'll see what Lindquist has in store for the rest of the field. But Jim Feliz still leading the way from pole position. We're 8 minutes into this one. Again, a 5-minute longer race than we saw earlier in the fixed series. But right now, Feliz kind of leading the way. Fernando Jaquez tucked in nightly behind. Might be on a little bit of a fuel-saving mission here. Kevin Simpson not too far back, keeping those 2 drivers in his sights. Corey Saccone, Evan McKay still trying to work together. Those 2 Acuras pushing each other the best they can, try and close that gap. We saw the Acuras being competitive in the first race, and 4 of our top 5 cars right now are the Acuras. Looks like McKay and Saccone, team orders there, Papaya rules. They're going to swap spots, but it looks like maybe Saccone didn't get the message. He tried to overtake McKay again after turn 5. Might have been just carried a little more speed through there, but they've swapped drivers. We'll see if McKay can now pull Saccone around to catch that trio up ahead.
Yeah, the SRTE green car is doing a great job. Our top amateur there, and our 2 amateurs, and sitting in the top 5. So great showing thus far. They want to keep this going.
Yeah, no doubt. We pick back up with Lindquist as he's caught Oliver Rodriguez Santos up ahead. That's a battle for 8th place. Lindquist showing some quick pace. He's got a 2:04.6 fast lap to Rodriguez Santos, 2:05.7. So just over 1 second quicker lap for Lindquist. So he's definitely got the pace. We'll see if he kind of move around Santos here quick enough to mount a charge towards the front, or if we get held up behind Rodriguez Santos and cost him a bit of track time or track space.
Yeah, those 3 cars there, all teammates have spread out a little bit. They were all nose to tail, and Juan Malagon's broken free from that pack. Meanwhile, we're going to go up near the front. Jim Feliz, he's got Fernando Jaquez all over the back of him, and right up close, Kevin Simpson. Fernando Jaquez going out wide, covered off by Jim Feliz. It gives him nowhere to go on the exit, but Jaquez content to sit up tight here. Entering, it looks like they're going into turn 3. This is going to set him up for a great opportunity if he's got the pace and he's got the top end speed. Right now, Jim Feliz doing a great job holding off Fernando Jaquez.
Yeah, we'll see if Jaquez gets enough for a run here to make a move into turn 5. Still tucked in tight behind Feliz. Not going to make a move into turn 5, but Simpson shows the nose as they head in there, and there comes the 2 SRT teammates of Saccone and McKay in behind. So might be a matter that Jaquez, seeing that those cars behind start to close that gap, trying to push Feliz, keep the pace up a little bit so they can stay out front, but not wanting to move around Feliz, trying to fuel save in behind.
Yeah, it's a long race. Well, not a long race, it's a sprint race, but it's 40 minutes, so we're only 11 and a half minutes into this. Kevin Simpson, though, sitting third where he started. The top three all in their original positions and breaking away from maintaining that distance to Evan McKay in fourth. So we're going to take a look back. Devin Brock in the beautiful Castrol car. Devin following Douglas Curry all over the back of him. And we've got a nice little 3-car battle here. And they're looking to close up with that 4-car battle up ahead of them. Poking the nose out a little bit, coming down this long straight. See if we've got enough and can make any moves entering Canada corner. It looks like right now everybody's content to just keep in line and not cause any incidents at this stage of the race.
Yeah, Brock doing the best he can to pressure the back of Douglas Corey. Corey not falling for it at this point in time, though, holding him off. But looks like Corey getting a little defensive into the final sector. Brock carrying a little more speed. I suspect we might see a move from Brock here into turn 1 if he can get enough of the overrun down the front straight, but tucked in tight. Doesn't look like he's really closing on the back bumper of Douglas Corey, though. See if he gets enough to make a move into turn 1. Still tucked in tight behind, not dipping out. Looks like he's going to stay in behind there. Corey's going to be able to hold him off for now as the rest of the field heads in and out of turn 1.
Yeah, it's great battling going on. There's passing opportunities here, but you've got to be close enough and have some overlap to make them, and nobody's quite been able to close the gap enough to make some magic happen at this stage. Cars lined up nose to tail in a big draft train going down that downhill section into the tough left-hand turn 5.
Yeah, Matt Stadnick leading this pack around, but it's like just ahead of him, Oliver Rodriguez Santos going wide in turn 5. That's dropped him back right in front of Stadnick. So we'll see if Stadnick puts some pressure on that CRT Chabot driver up ahead and try and put some pressure on him. But we didn't take a look at the standings here before this one, Rich. I'll see if I can get them loaded in. And when we have a moment, we can have a look at them. But we've got tight battle shaping up in the AM class for the points. I had a look at that earlier on. I believe the team's championship is fairly close as well.
Yeah, there's been some great racing all season long, and that's showing in the results. We're continuing on with Matt Stadnick, a previous race winner this season. He's following Oliver Rodriguez Santos, who was passed by Emmett Lindquist. So Emmett's got by one of the cars. He's got 2 more to go of those teammates, and so far so good. Trying to move forward. Coming into the end of this long track at Road America, Matt Stadnick making the right-hander, leading up to the uphill section, going on to the long front straight. Matt following Oliver Rodriguez Santos. Behind Matt, we've got Douglas Curry, then Devin Brock and Blake Zede.
Yeah, we've got some tight battles, a lot of draft battles here. Is Blake Zede looking on the back of Devin Brock. Devin Brock was putting pressure on Douglas Corey up ahead. That gap's going to open up a little bit now. Is Zede putting the pressure on the back of Brock? So Brock's gone from the offensive to now the defensive, trying to keep an eye in his mirrors to see if Blake Zede is going to make a move anywhere in around him. But right now that pack still kind of staying stagnant up front. Jim Feliz opened up a bit of a gap over Fernando Jaquez. Now that's 7/10. We saw Jaquez really pushing the pace with Feliz earlier on, tucked on the back bumper, trying to push him forward. In doing so, looks like they've opened up a gap over Evan McKay and Corey Sircone now, as that duo has fallen back to 2.5 seconds away, and actually Sircone's fallen off the back of McKay another 1.9 seconds. So that duo that was trying to chase down the pack up ahead is split up, and now Juan Malagon reeling in Corey Sircone.
Yeah, Juan in the lone Mercedes has been showing great pace all season long, and Juan's getting a little hungry there, and Corey Sircone is falling off the back of his teammate, and might be a little vulnerable another lap or two if he doesn't get his pace back up where he needs to be.
Yeah, we talked about the great sound of the Mustang early on in race 1, and another one here, the Mercedes, probably if not the second best sounding GT3, very close to it, as we hear Juan Malagon going through the gears, dropping gears into the braking section, trying to close that gap on Corey Sircone up ahead.
Yeah, it's a unique looking car in the GT3 world on iRacing, and nice to see it well represented by Juan Malagon tonight. Juan is still working hard on Corey Cercone. He's 0.7 of a second behind. Closed that gap down a lot in the last couple of laps. And in we got Oliver Rodriguez Santos, one of our early scheduled pit stop people. And looks like he just wants to get a little out of traffic. And he's trying to get back and get his pace up on top again.
Yeah, interesting. We didn't see any of his teammates pop into the pits with him. He's going to come back out and not actually have the draft when he comes out, or no draft partner. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of pace he puts in. Road America, definitely a track you don't really want to have to come back out on track alone. Being out in the open air by yourself isn't really much of an advantage unless the car in front of you is holding him up. But we'll see where that cycles through for him. But right now, Emmett Lindquist still trying to find a way around Luis Grouillon. Battle of two McLarens, as you see Lindquist looking to the inside, Grouillon trying to hold off Lindquist in behind, but similar lap times between the two cars, 2/10 quicker last time by Lindquist, but these two McLarens fairly matched out there.
Yeah, Lindquist is doing a good job. He's dispatched one of the cars, but still trying to get by Luis Grouillon has proved to be a little more difficult. Juan Malagon a little bit ahead of them. Emmett had a great week last week, if I recall, Rob, and looking forward to trying to have himself another good one here tonight.
Yeah, we can take a quick look here at the championship standings and take a look and see where Emmett Lindquist is sitting right now. Second place in the pro category. Fernando Jaquez leading the way, 153 to Lindquist's 130. And then Kevin Simpson in third spot in 122. David Mendonça in fourth with 118 points. Then we see Nene Tavares in 107 points, holding down fifth spot. So Solpec drivers holding down second, third, and fourth. And you'll see that reflected in a few moments when we get to the team's standings. But quickly, we'll take a look at the AM side of things. And whoops, we are one page up too far there, Rich. But there we go. Matt Stadnik's leading the way, 157 points. Corey Cercone in second in 145 points. Joey Costello rounding out the podium, 141 points currently. And then we go quite a ways back to Luis Grouillon, 102 points back. So really the championship shaping up to three drivers right now, Stadnik, Cercone, and Costello. But again, this is without the drops featured in. So we still have the back half of the season to go. And I believe they get one drop. So all of our drivers still have time to take advantage of that drop. And then quickly take a look at the team's championship there. And you see Solpec Racing by Via having the second, third, and fourth points holders in the pro category have moved up into top spot, 301 points. They've dropped the CRT team down to second place to 274 points, and SRTE Orange 249 points. So still fairly close in the teams battle as our drivers take the best two out of their three team drivers to accumulate the points. So still anything can happen there.
Yeah, it's we got some good battles going on season wide and tonight. So the Throttle Freaks series open sprint series has proven to be a great battleground for all the competitors tonight. Going back up to the front though, coming down the long mid straightaway, we've got Fernando Jaquez still following Jim Feliz. Kevin Simpson has fallen back a little bit. He's just over a second and a quarter behind these two. Still have Jim Feliz leading start all the way till right now. We're 20 minutes in. We're more than halfway through this race. Fernando Jaquez doing a good job, though, keeping that Ferrari right up behind Jim Feliz.
Yeah, as we're on board here with Kevin Simpson, take a look at some lap comparisons here between him and Fernando Jaquez up ahead. You can see Simpson, a couple laps, he was a little quicker than Jaquez, a little quicker through a few other laps. And then Evan McKay actually pushing the pace a little bit. He's fallen off the last couple laps. Laps 6 and 7 was pushing the pace a little quicker than Kevin Simpson. So if McKay could get his drafting partner back, Corey Cercone, we might be able to see him start to close down that gap between he and Simpson.
Yeah, the top two amateurs, Evan McKay in fourth, Corey Cercone, teammate, in fifth. I'm going to go back here and take a look. We're following Kevin Simpson. Oh, here we go. We've got Douglas Curry from the CRT Chabao team in the pits. Joey Costello, SRT Black driver, coming into the pits. We're just over halfway through this race. More and more drivers each lap coming into the pits here, and following on with Luis Grion. He's in between Matt. It looks like, back up with Emmett Lindquist following Luis Grion. Matt Stanek following in behind him. These three cars trying to track down Corey Sarcone, sitting in 5th.
Yeah, Lindquist unable to find a way around Gruillon so far. We saw him catch up to the back of Gruillon, but it's kind of been stagnant since he's got there. He's had the quicker laps early on, but Gruillon's been able to hold Lindquist at bay. I'm wondering if maybe Lindquist is just utilizing some fuel saving there in behind now, and he's going to leapfrog Gruillon and possibly Sarcone through the pit cycle, but we haven't seen any of those drivers in yet. Actually, we haven't seen most of our field in for pit stops yet, so we're still waiting for the vast majority of them to do it. But once that does, we'll see if a couple of drivers with fuel strategies have been able to make the move around the driver ahead. But let's check back in that pack that we were focusing on earlier with Devin Brock, Sean Carmody, Blake Seedy, and Nestor Santana. Brock leading them around right now. Statnik's kind of pulled away from this pack. He was leading it, but he's now 3.7 seconds down the road. So we'll see if Brock and Carmody and Zedi the like can kind of join together here, form a draft train, and chase Statnik back down.
Yeah, watch Devin Brock diving into the pits. Devin diving into the pits, and meanwhile, Sean Carmody staying out. Blake Zedi right behind him. The two SRTE cars, green or black and orange, or what we have? Yeah, I guess it's black and orange teammates following in closely in together. Nestor Santana following in behind, but looks like he's about half second back of them.
Yeah, Santana back a little bit, but the SRTE green teams and black teams are a little confusing. The green and black are both rocking the green paint scheme, so it's a little hard to tell just by looking at them which car is on which team. But as we see up ahead, no team orders as far as SRTE goes, as Zedi trying to make a move around Carmody into turn 5. Looks like he's going to have that done and dusted. Carmody going to fall back in behind Zedi, and that's going to move Zedi up into 9th and drop Carmody back to 10th.
Yeah, he made it, didn't make it difficult to get by. There may have been no team orders, but these guys are definitely not looking to take each other out and make any aggressive moves, so well done. Meanwhile, back up front, Jim Feliz. Start all the way here to lap 12, 24 minutes in. Fernando Hackas still falling all over the back of him, and they've got Kevin Simpson about a second, just over a second and a quarter behind, so we got the top 3 drivers breaking out of the pack. They looks like they got about a 5 or 6 second lead on 4th place, and content it looks like Fernando is just to hang with Jim, and I don't know if he's saving or he's giving it all he's got, but these two drivers have done a great job so far tonight. Kevin Simpson following along in 3rd and hoping to close that gap maybe through pit strategy.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how pit strategy plays out from here. I really think that Hawkes is trying to utilize fuel saving here, but we'll see how that plays out for the pit cycle. If he can't have a quicker pit stop than Feliz, then it's all for naught, but I believe at this point in time he's staying close enough to utilize the fuel saving there. But we got a few more cars coming into the pits. Evan McKay, Matt Stadnik, Nestor Santana, Ivan Basono all coming in together, so we should start to see the rest of the field in shortly as we are approaching just over 25 minutes, so about 15 minutes to go in this one. Definitely nearing the end of the fuel tank for most of these cars.
Yeah, while that's going on, it looks like something may have happened with Juan Malagon. He's dropped right back, but we're going to go back up and take a look here. We've got Luis Grullon. Luis battling hard with Corey Sarcone, going around the outside of Corey Sarcone. Corey Sarcone inside line. It looks like he's held him off this time. While all that's going on, Emmett Lindquist right up in the back. We've got 3 cars here battling for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Emmett Lindquist following closely on the back of Luis Grullon as they're coming down into the very difficult turn 8. Looks like Luis Grullon not being able to make that move. Going into the carousel, let's see how these lines go here. Luis doing a great job of holding off of Emmett Lindquist, and Corey Sarcone just loving this, keeping going forwards, not backwards, not looking in the mirrors, driving hard forwards.
Yeah, Sarcone had quite a bit of a gap over these guys a couple laps ago, so they've been able to close down Sarcone fairly quickly. Lindquist showing the outright pace of the McLaren here as they chase down the Acura, of course, going up ahead, but just up in front of them, Jim Feliz, our leader, heading into the final corner. We'll see if Feliz and Jaquez, as well as Simpson, pop in for fuel this time. If they're going to go one more time, there they are, our leaders coming in, so they're at the tail end of the fuel load. This is where we're going to see if Jaquez was able to save enough fuel to leapfrog Feliz. So we'll follow through into their pit cycle and see how it plays out here, Rich.
This is we've been waiting 27 minutes for this, Rob, and it's all going to come down to this section here because none of the top three have been making any passes since the start of this race. This might be the one and only opportunity for passing.
Yeah, this is it where we see the the fuel burn between the Ferrari, the Acura. Oh, it looks like Feliz up on the jack stand. Sometimes that is just an error on iRacing side. Doesn't necessarily mean they're taking tires, but we'll have to see. It looks like Sircone missed his pit stall, had to back out, but it looks like Feliz going to stay up front of Jaquez. They're coming out nose to tail though. Simpson right behind them too as well. So Jaquez unable to use fuel strategy to leapfrog Feliz. He's going to have to try and find the pace on track. So excellent job by Jim Feliz, able to hold off Fernando Jaquez and stay out front. So we'll see if what Jaquez has now as far as outright pace.
Yeah, Jaquez picked up looks like about 7/10 in the stall and 5/10 overall, but not quite enough. Jim Feliz got that back end in front of Jaquez, and Jaquez couldn't get by him on the exit of the pits. So we're going to come down. We're going to have to race hard, and if he's going to want that first place and the win tonight, he's going to have to do it on the track.
Yeah, I know Jim Feliz would definitely like to pull this one off after getting knocked out on lap one. I believe it was actually even turn one last week. So this will be a nice recovery for him if he can hold that together. But right now, Jaquez is putting the pressure on the back of that Acura of Jim Feliz. Jaquez is trying to muster up all the power of that Ferrari he can. The Ferraris haven't been great the last couple of weeks, so Jaquez is trying to take advantage of a strong showing from the Ferraris here this week, trying to push the pace of that Acura Feliz up ahead.
Feliz is doing a great job thus far, and well, Jaquez, if he's taken enough fuel, it's the patience is over. It's time to make some moves. It's time to get up tight, time to apply pressure. Jim Feliz may have to start going a little defensive if this keeps up, and that is what Kevin Simpson is hoping for, being about a second back of these guys.
Yeah, Simpson would love to see the two of them just kind of wreck each other and him to be able to cruise off to the win at this point in time. But right now, that's not to come to fruition. But Jaquez putting a ton of pressure on the back of Feliz. Feliz going to go a little wide on the exit of turn 14. That's going to compromise his run up the front straight. This might be what the doctor ordered for Jaquez to make a move into turn one. We'll see if he gets enough for a run. Feliz going very defensive all the way up into the inside wall. Fernando Jaquez comes in. He's going to make a move to the inside. We'll see if he's able to pull that off. Feliz holding on to the inside line now. Around they go into the exit of turn one, still side by side through turn two, down to turn three. Feliz still on the inside. Jaquez trying to fight around the outside. He was able to get in the throttle a little earlier, but he's going to get a little bit of a wiggle loose on the back end. That's going to allow Feliz to hold on to top spot.
Man, Kevin Simpson loving that battling going up ahead. He made up about half a second in those couple of corners, and now Kevin Simpson is closing up, and he's getting right up into this battle. We're watching Jaquez going way wide, Feliz covering off the inside. Bang, here we go, Rob. We got a nice battle here. Looks like we got maybe a 3-car battle coming in. We've got 10 minutes of racing left, and Jim Feliz doing a great job thus far of holding off the charging Fernando Jaquez.
Yeah, Kevin Simpson might have the best seat in the house right now watching this battle from third place. Just far enough away if something were to happen, if two of them were to bobble, drop a couple tires off track where he could capitalize, but not really pushing the pace. But we see who is pushing the pace, Fernando Jaquez, up ahead, trying to find any which way he can around Jim Feliz. Jim Feliz holding him off right now, but it'll be a matter of time to see how long he can hold him off with the patience of Jaquez starts to falter and fail, and if he tries to force the issue.
Yeah, these three drivers have broken out an 8-second gap to Emmett Lindquist sitting in fourth. It looks like Emmett has got himself a little bit of a gap to Luis Grion and then Corey Sircone. So we're going to keep falling around with this pack here right now, though. Most exciting action on the track right now, we've got Jim Feliz followed by Fernando Jaquez And Kevin Simpson looks like Kevin needs a little more battling from the guys up front so he can get that gap closed down. He's about just about 6 tenths behind. 3 tenths behind Feliz is Fernando Jaquez. Not close enough to make any moves right now, but letting him know he's there.
Yeah, we should give a shout out to Emmett Lindquist, though. We saw him chasing down Luis Gurriel, Corey Cercone, and he had some battles with Stanek and Rodriguez Santos. I mentioned it looked like he might have been just trying to save fuel tucked in behind those guys. He's got himself up into 4th place, up 7 spots, with a pit time of 12.5 to Gurriel's 13.2, Cercone's 13.9, and Statnik's 14.9. So well done for Emmett Lindquist getting himself up into firmly in the top 5 in 4th place. Well, here we see
he's done a great
Jaquez
job.
looking to
Fernando
the
Jaquez.
outside. Feliz able to defend that.
Looks like this. Yeah, they did that same move last lap, Rob, and it looks like Jim's covering off the inside and Fernando's trying the outside, but all that does is like Kevin Simpson right up into the battle here for first place. He's right there in the mix.
Yeah, Simpson in the catbird seat if something were to happen, but right now, Feliz putting on a masterclass of pace and defense, able to counteract anything that Jaquez has thrown at him to this point. But let's take a look back a little farther. We got a battle here between Blake Ziti, Devin Brock, Nestor Santana, and Sean Carmody. That's currently for 10th spot. Ziti holding down 10th, Brock in 11th, Santana in 12th, Carmody in 13th. So 4-car battle. There also are 5th, 6th, and 7th cars in the AM class as well. We see just ahead Douglas Curry, not too far up the track from Ziti, but those 4 cars kind of nose to tail, not close enough to make a move, but trying to work together to chase down Douglas Curry just up ahead of them. But we do have Joey Costello making a move on David Mendonça out of the kink and into Canada corner. He's going to make that position stick and stay. That's going to move Costello up into 16th place and drop Mendonça back down to 17th place. So nice move for Joey Costello there, recovering off his earlier incident.
Yeah, those are 2 drivers I think wished and we're hoping to be a lot further up the field than they are right now. But we're going to go back up to the front. We've got Jim Feliz, Fernando Jaquez, and Kevin Simpson still battling for top 3. We're going to follow back here now. We've got Oliver Rodriguez Santos all over the back of Matt Stadnik. Oliver 8th place overall right now, having a decent run. He's sitting right where he started, looking for a little bit more. Matt Stadnik up 2 positions on the night, sitting 7th overall.
Yeah, Santos was getting a nice run down the front straight, wasn't able to make the move into turn 1. He's going to have to stay tucked in behind. See if he makes a move into turn 5. Not quite close enough. Going to try the outside, but Stadnik kind of covers him off. Oh, late braking move for Rodriguez. Tries to cross over. Stadnik gets onto the throttle a little bit earlier. That Porsche with the rear motor over the rear axle, able to utilize the throttle. You can get into the throttle a little earlier than the rest of the cars out of corner exit. Stadnik shows you there exactly why it's an advantage. But looks like Aaron Lewis had an incident moments ago. Let's see what happened to him. So he's heading into the carousel section. So he drifts a little wide, gets onto the grass, boom, off the wall. That's going to end Aaron Lewis's night.
Yeah, once you get on the grass in that carousel, there's just no saving it there. And now we're going back up to the front. More of the same, Rob. Jim Feliz doing a masterful job. Combination of defensive driving and nice clean lines, allowing him to maintain that gap over Fernando Jaquez in second, about 3 to 4 tenths. Kevin Simpson falling back a little bit further. Kevin he doesn't seem to quite have the pace of the top 2 guys. He needs them to battle some more to get back in this mix.
Yeah, I think Simpson's best chance right now is for something to happen between those 2 cars up ahead. It looks like he might be running a little more of a little higher downforce setup than the 2 cars up ahead in the straight line sections. Just not able to really close that gap using the draft. But Sahaka has really closed on the front straight. He's back on Feliz's tailpipe. He's looking to the inside of turn 3. Not really a chance to make an overtake there, but kind of compromises his exit a little bit. We'll see if he gets a run into turn 5 as they head underneath the cheese bridge now. But Feliz leading the way with just under 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, who doesn't love a little bit of cheese there, Rob? Nothing better than being in Wisconsin Jim Feliz, this time not going defensive, going way wide on the entry, not taking the bait from Fernando Hackes, not compromising his line, trying to maintain that position without giving up any pace.
Yeah, Flea's doing, as I mentioned earlier, still a masterclass in defense right now, holding off the charge of Fernando Hackes. Hackes, I think, is pretty much thrown everything he could so far at Feliz. Feliz has fought it off so far, so we'll see if he's able to do it for another 2 laps. They should have this lap and possibly 1 more, maybe 2 more, depending what time is left when they cross the line, but definitely 2 more laps at a minimum to go. We'll see if Hackes has anything left in the tank to offer Feliz as far as overtake opportunities. Right now, Feliz, our pole sitter, leading the way. 38, 7.5 minutes into this one. Another 2.5 minutes to go for Jim Feliz.
Yeah, and it's always a question too: is did Fernando take enough fuel? He was less time in the stall than pretty much everybody else in the field except for David Mendonça. So that may come into play, and that may be why he's not making any aggressive moves just yet. Looks like we're gonna have, my guess is probably 2 laps to go, I think, or it's gonna be close. Rob, has Barney got the flag out? No, we've got 2 more now. So lots of opportunities here. Jim Feliz is holding strong against Fernando Hackes. Fernando Hackes content to sit in second, or maybe not content, but definitely not being able to get a move done. Kevin Simpson following a little bit further back, hoping these two start battling hard.
Yeah, moments ago, it looks like Oliver Rodriguez was able to get around, or sorry, Sean Carmody gets around Nestor Santana there. And then just before that, Oliver Rodriguez was able to get around Matt Stadnick into turn 1. So a little position jockeying, a little further back in the field, but still up front right now. Jim Feliz leading the way over Fernando Hackes. That gap still sitting tight at 2/10. So Hackes looking to the inside. Oh, a little touch of the back bumper there. Feliz gets Feliz a little upset. Hackes looks to the outside. They're going to touch and rub again. Feliz gives him a little bump back. Looks like he wasn't overly happy with that shove of Hackes. A little rubbins racing there. Nothing lost, nothing gained. All our drivers are going to stay in position. That allowed Kevin Simpson to close right up on this gap, on this battle now, as Hackes still trying to find a way around Feliz into the carousel. Simpson is right there now. If something were to happen between these 2 drivers, he's there to take that position away. So 3 cars heading into the kink. Will all 3 come out? It looks like all 3 are going to make it through perfectly fine into Canada corner. We'll see if Simpson takes the opportunity to make a move on Hackes now, as Hackes looking a little bit wounded on this lap. Simpson not close enough to make a move. Hackes safe as it stands now, but Feliz going to lead them through Bill Mitchell Bend around a couple more corners. And this will finish up lap number 19. And it should bring us on to the final lap, unless Barney was giving us the old fake maneuver last time by.
He has done that once before, but let's hope not, because this is a fantastic battle. 1 lap to go, and come on, Barney.
Oh, this is it. Barney's not waving the flag. Jim Feliz is going to take the win. It. Well done, Jim Feliz. He holds them off till the end. Barney is on strike, apparently. We're going to have to fire him, but Luis Grullon here is going to lead the pack of Corey Saccone, Oliver Rodriguez Santos to the line, but Blake Seedy not quite able to chase down Douglas Curry up ahead, Devin Brock, Sean Carmody, Josh Spears coming across, David Mendonça going to lead Joey Costello and Ivan Basono to the line. We go back to Pete Mejia, Adam Ostrich, Fernando Torres coming into the final section. And then just behind him, Aaron Lewis will be our final car to cross the line. So we're going to have a little talk with Barney and his flag waving here. It's hard to tell what lap we're on if he's not going to wave the damn flag for us, but we might have to talk to his union. But well done by all of our drivers. Jim Feliz takes the win here this evening in the sprint series at Throttle Freaks. A little bit of a victory donut there for Jim as well.
Well, I think he earned that donut sitting down at the off run there at turn 5, just celebrating. Jim's had a little bit of tough luck, as you said. I think it was last week, and he went green to checker in the lead, and congratulations, Jim.
Yeah, well done, Jim Feliz. Pole to pole He takes this one. Fernando Haka is going to have to settle for second place. Kevin Simpson in third. Emmett Lindquist in fourth. Luis Grullon brings it home fifth. Corey Sarcone in sixth. Oliver Rodriguez in seventh. Matt Stadnick in eighth. Douglas Curry in ninth. Blake Seedy in 10th. Devin Brock in 11th. Sean Carmody 12th. Nestor Santana 13th. Josh Spears in 14th. David Mendonça in 15th. Joey Costello 16th. Ivan Bissono 17th. Pete Mejia 18th. Adam Ostrich 19th. Fernando Torres rounds out the top 20. Then we see Aaron Lewis, Evan McKay, Juan Malagon, Daniel Zippy Salmon, and then a couple of guys in the booth.
Well, that was exciting, Rob. I really enjoyed tonight. We've been waiting all season long for our favorite track, and both the fixed and the sprint series drivers at Throttle Freaks, it did not disappoint us.
Definitely, it was just as we wanted. Rich, we couldn't ask for much more than that, but looks like we have Jim Feliz in the booth. Rich, why don't you catch up with Jim?
Well, Jim, after some disappointment last week, and tonight must feel extra special. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, it feels incredible. I think, I've been fortunate enough to win in some other leagues. Had a rough start to this season, and it's been a while since I've been on the top step. So, yeah, that one felt really, really good tonight. And, yeah, tough to be too disappointed with a second place last week, but going one step better today felt pretty good.
Some job. We were noticing Fernando Haka has applied all kinds of pressure on that last lap. You managed to hold him off. How'd that race go for you, and how was that last lap?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Fernando was flying. He pushed me the entire race. So, a little bit of argy-bargy there on the last lap. I don't think there was anything too over the line. He made a little bit of a late lunge there, had some contact, but, I think at the end of the day, that ended up being a great race and certainly a great result. So I'm happy with that, and, yeah, enjoyed the race with Fernando.
Yeah, it was exciting for us to watch and call, and man, oh man, we love Road America, and we're very happy to see you get pole and then take the victory. Next week, I believe, is Coda. How's Coda for you?
It's a tough track for everybody, I think. It's very, very technical, really, really challenging with the S's there, just trying to maintain your rhythm. The cars get really, really sensitive. You have to be patient when you get on the throttle and off the throttle to kind of manage the weight transfer. And, the off tracks there are always a hassle. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good challenge for everyone next week.
Well, congratulations once again. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out or thank tonight?
I just want to say hello to the folks watching at home. Really appreciate my friends and family watching the broadcast. Thank you guys for putting on a great show, and shout out to all the SRT guys.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, that was Jim Feliz, our winner from pole to pole. And then looks like we've got Kevin Simpson in the booth too as well. Kevin, P3 looked like you didn't quite have the trimmed out setup to keep pace with the top two in the straight. So you dropped back a couple tenths here and there. How'd that work out for you? What were you feeling out there?
No, you're absolutely right, Rob. I did not have the skill to drive a trimmed out car on that track, So, and look, man, that was a personal best in quali twice. So I just did not have the pace to keep up with those two. Jim was really precise, and you could tell he had tires. Fernando was like, he had the horsepower, but I think he ran out of tires at the end, So it was a lot of fun watching those guys. But as soon as I tried to lift to save a little bit of fuel, I would drop back to 810, and I'd have to hustle to get back, right? And then as soon as I made a mistake, I tried to outbrake myself on the next corner to get back in the draft, and I just couldn't. I just had nothing for those dudes. They were too quick.
Yeah, it looked like you had the catbird seed for most of the race. Did you get a little excited there the last lap when they were kind of bumping and banging through turn 5, turn 6, and 7 through there? Did you think maybe there was a possibility something would happen? You could leapfrog them and take the win?
you never know what's going to happen. And it did get pretty tight, little contact there on a couple of occasions, and it threw them both in. But I was going to need a pretty big mistake, Rob, to capitalize on that.
Well done, Kevin. Can't argue over a step on the podium, regardless of where it's first, second, or third. Well done. Next week we head to Coda. Generally not a great track for GT3 cars, but are you on the like or hate side of things with Coda?
Oh man, I don't want to divulge too much, but that is my favorite track of all time. I love that track. I love racing it.
Oh.
I think there's something about Coda that when you get it right, um, and it's hard to be quick on that track. It's just easy to overdrive, but when you get it right, man, there's just no other feeling like racing Coda. I think it's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that.
Excellent. We're looking for big things from you next week then, Kevin. Hey,
Okay, I said I liked it. I didn't say I was quick.
it's out there now. It's out there. We expect big things. Anybody
All right,
want
I'll
to
own it. I'll own
shout
it.
out before we let you go?
Yeah, Solpec, appreciate those guys, Bruzy, our sponsors, my teammates Emmett, and David, and the also like there's a few dudes at Solpec that's they're veterans. They spend a lot of time helping us with setup, helping us with techniques. Boris Ovando and Dominique Olivier, those guys are they're outstanding teammates, and I just can't imagine being on a better team than Precision.
Well done, Kevin. Again, we won't put too much pressure on you next week for Coda, but we're expecting big things. Best of luck to you.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Here. So that was third place, Kevin Simpson. And that's going to pretty much all but wrap it up for us here this week, Rich. Next week we head to Coda. Seems like most of our drivers a little impartial, not the biggest fans of it other than Kevin Simpson. So we're going to expect big things from him next week. But till next week, I am Rob Campbell, and in the booth with me, Richard Swindells. We will catch you then. Bye for now.
Good night.